Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 7:30 on Monday the 5th of April. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's a cold, windy morning this morning. Very windy yesterday, and overnight you can feel the cold in that wind. I suspect there might be some heat going on in the cabin this morning. It is a bit cool. Well, this is the last day of my long weekend, and I did do a few things yesterday, and there's a few more little projects planned for this morning, but rather than doing a separate video yesterday, I thought I'd do a combo version today. So as usual, I'll keep you posted with progress as I go through the day, but for now I'm going to get in the cabin, get the kettle on, and check out the heating situation. I'll just pop the diesel heater and the kettle on. I'm just going to quickly check on the chickens, let them out into their pen, see how they are today. Just a quick run around the outside, make sure everything's good. And everything seems to be good. Apart from the wind, it's very cold this morning. Biting wind. That's something I did yesterday. I just put those wooden strips up on this section where I infilled with the last piece of chicken wire. The other one's continuous, but this one is a section, so I've just wooden stripped it just to give it a bit more security. But no signs of anything digging around or chewing at the wire. Let's have a little look and see how the little family's doing. Morning, chicks. Here we go. Good morning. If it'll focus, that's better. How are we doing today? They are bonny birds. They really are. Let's just get the wood out. I'll need to top that water up today, because they're going to be on their own. They've had a few days of settling in, but the reality is it's back to work tomorrow, so they're going to be fending for themselves. I will pop in every second day just to check on things, and I am nervous about having this door open. As much as I'm convinced that the pen is rodent or fox proof, there's always that nagging doubt, isn't there, in the back of your mind. I guess we'll find out, but I am a bit nervous. Right, let these go and do their own thing. See if they want to go out today. They did pop out yesterday in the morning when I first opened up, and then they dived straight back in again when they realised how cold it was. Oh, look at that. How trained are they? Yeah, but yesterday they went out and said, I'm not having this, it's too cold, and dived straight back in again till it warmed up a little later in the day, which it did, to be fair. Lunchtime it was hot. Well, I say hot. It was nice and comfortable. Unlike this morning. So there we go. They're all outside, playing in the little pen. I'm going to get myself inside and play with a cup of coffee. I'll catch up with you shortly. Well, good morning. I hope you all had a nice weekend, and if you've had the Easter holiday this weekend, then I hope that's been enjoyable for you. It's been really enjoyable for me. Having extra 2 days off work. It has been cold down here. We've gone from a few really nice hot days earlier last week through to the normal spring, and then some unseasonable spring weather. We had ice on the car windows yesterday. There wasn't ice on the windows this morning when I set off, but we've had this really strong wind yesterday and overnight, and that has like made the wind chill effect, so the temperature, even though it was hovering around freezing this morning, that wind made it feel a lot colder, and still is making it feel a lot colder. I just popped the diesel heater on for 5 minutes or so while the kettle was boiling, and it's a balmy, or is it 15 degrees now in here, but since I've turned the diesel heater off, I guarantee that's going to drop. But the good news is the sun's peeking out. I can see on the roof of the cabin the sun's making an appearance over the trees, so hopefully that'll start to warm up. It did that yesterday by sort of 11 o'clock. It was really quite pleasant outside, and that enabled me to get a job out of the way. I don't know if you can hear that wind. That I've been meaning to do for a long time, but just haven't had the materials, and all will become clear shortly as to what that was. Did a few other bits and pieces around the cabin. Did those wooden strips on the chicken pen. I've made a shelf and changed the latch on the window in the garden room. That's been bugging me for ages. I bought a window latch, and it turned out to be a really cheap Chinese affair, and the little pegs that hold the latch when you close the window, within a day one of those had snapped off, so it has been bugging me. And that was something I got out of the way yesterday. A couple of things I'm looking at today. I'm looking at bench stroke bed arrangement in the old cabin, now that I'm starting to clear out all of the wood, so I'll have a bit of a dig out in there today. It has been a bit of a dumping ground for the last year, mainly to keep the wood nice and dry, rather than filling up the polytunnel. And I want to take a look at the cabin water storage tank. The roof on that is definitely in need. I can hear that wind now. It's really strong out there. I can hear the polytunnel flapping around. So there's a few bits and pieces. Planting for sure. I'm going to be looking at that today. I daren't plant out in the raised beds because I know that today, tomorrow, and possibly Wednesday this week, we are forecast for minus temperatures, so I daren't put anything outside. But that won't necessarily stop me from repotting some of those leggy seedlings, and I'll just leave them indoors, hopefully to grow stronger until we can get them planted outside. I've got those 2 pallet collars to make raised beds. Was debating about having a dedicated little raised bed at the back of the chicken pen for growing feed for the chickens, things like lettuce, because that'll just be a nice supplement for them over and above their normal feed. Must remember to top that water up as well for the chickens before I leave today. So as usual, lots of non-jobs, but they are important jobs that need doing, and I'll keep you posted as we go through the day. It won't be a full day today. I have got stuff to do back home, ready for the return to work tomorrow, but I'm sure we'll get a few little jobs out of the way. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are and staying safe, and I hope the weather's treating you well. Spring is definitely here. This, I guess, is just winter's last hurrah before it leaves us, and we get into the more settled and hopefully warmer weather. I did notice yesterday as I was walking around the field, we are starting to see a range of different flowers starting to make an appearance on the field. I did take a couple of little pictures, and I'll probably pop those up just to scroll through the screen so you can have a little look at what's happening on the field itself. But fingers crossed this wind will dry down and the sun will start to warm up, and we'll be able to get a few things done outside. But you'll catch up as we go along, no doubt. Wondered what all the noise was, but the ducks have returned. Maybe they're wanting to join my chickens in the chicken coop. There they are, look, hiding in the corner. They just keep coming back. Mr. Cockerel's on guard, look. Well, I just couldn't resist. It is cold in here, so I thought I'd just pop a little fire on for an hour or two and get warmed through. You remember that when I built the cabin I put some shutters over it, and the availability of plastic's never been there, but I'm having a go today with some scrap plastic which has come from a business with the COVID restrictions in. So let's have a little look and see what happens. Well, that's been a bit of a chew, especially cutting the plastic, but they're in. Two shiny bright windows, and tinted windows at that. It's I don't know what that is. That's 20 mil plastic. It was a pig to cut, I know that. So yeah, job's a good one. Much better than those shutters. It's looking very nice. Right, so that's the guttering back in, and the windows are looking extremely nice. Extremely nice. Job's a good one. How does that look? Bargain. Little kestrel flying above the field. Don't think you'll see that in the video. So, some real good progress today. Proper windows in the cabin for the first time. If you're a long time subscriber to the channel, you'll know that this was the cabin I built first. And normally if you walk in here, you've got to put some lights on. Because when I built it, I was worried about the plastic sheet that the windows were constructed from. It was very, very thin and flimsy. So I put shutters up to stop the wind blowing straight through and taking out the thin plastic sheets, and also for a bit of security in case somebody tried to get into the cabin. And it's been like that for I don't know how long. It's going to be a year, maybe more. So yeah, this is something you don't normally see. I look out of the window and I see the polytunnel blowing around in the gale. I see daylight. But from outside, as you've seen earlier, it's black tinted, so you can't actually see in. You just get a mirror effect. So that's very nice. It's a first, and it's definitely progress, and that's what it's all about. Well, the sun is trying to make an appearance, but the wind is just not letting up at all. But if you can see in these trees, it's really bitterly cold wind and really strong. I've just been looking at that water tank cover, and it needs some more roofing sheets for that. I don't quite have enough, but I have got my raised beds out. I'm just going to have a little experiment with those now, see where they can go. Need to be in the polytunnel as well, looking at those seedlings. Lots of stuff, it's just bitterly cold out here. Well, everything's a challenge today. My tarpaulins are all trying to blow away in the wind. It really is strong. Sun is trying to get out, but it's just so strong a wind, it's biting, really biting. I think there'll be a distinct lack of activity outside today, and we'll be in the polytunnel or the garden room. I've just put the chickens back outside. They're not liking this wind, so they all came scuttling back in pretty much straight away. But I've just been putting a bit more shavings on the floor, and a little bit more straw in the nest boxes, just to tide them over for the next few days. Feed's okay, topped up the water, so they're pretty much good to go actually for the week ahead. Well, I guess we'll see how we get on with this door being left open, but it is nice and warm in here. There is no draft coming in at all. That little covering on the outside of the entrance to the pen is doing its job, and it's stopping the wind from coming in. And apart from the vent, which is supposed to be there, actually there's not much of a draft coming through there either. That louver is doing its job, so I'm fairly confident that they're going to be nice and warm in here, even with that door open. So I've done my good deed for them. They've got some fresh bedding down. I've no doubt as soon as I go out of here, they'll be coming back in. And I do keep looking. I can't help myself but look at these nest boxes in the vain hope that there's going to be an egg in there, but I think we're way off that yet. Well, they're still out there pecking around. There's a bit of sunlight making its way into the pen, so who knows, they might stay out for a while. I've stopped my tarpaulin from blowing over. One thing I was looking at, the outside door to the nest boxes. I was here late last night doing a torch video, and I could hear them all shuffling around in here, and that's a small bolt on there. And it is easy access for anybody who did come down to just flick that open and maybe not close it. And I'd be losing my chickens, so I'm tempted to put some kind of a hasp and padlock on these. There's always something to get distracted with. Not at all what I was planning today, but it's on my mind, so I'll not rest until I've done it. I'm really wanting to get in the polytunnel and have a look at the seedlings in there, because it's going to be toasty warm in there. It was like a sauna yesterday. Anyway, so as usual I've got distracted, so I'm going to have a look at those nest boxes. Well, that's the first one done. So I've got a nice little hasp on there. I can just pop a little padlock on, and we're good to go. So I'll just do the other one. Well, there we go. Nest boxes are secure. This sun looks really nice, but it's not doing anything out here. It is bloody cold, I'll tell you. Anyway, I'm going to get myself inside and get a warm and maybe have another cup of coffee. I've spent a bit of time this morning on this garden room. It's another one of those non-jobs that really does need doing, and I got some of this. It's like polystyrene foam. It's an infill on these corrugated sheets, and I've just run all the way along this leading edge because I've noticed quite often there's a significant draft comes through here. So I've managed to get these, and it's one of those jobs that should have been done ages ago but never was, and I just run along this trailing edge, and it's made a massive improvement. I also braved the elements and ran outside because I noticed on this edge there was a sheet lifting in this corner, and that took a bit of doing because that roof on the tractor garage outside there, it's very, very thin sheet, so it was a bit of a balancing act clambering on there and then getting up onto this high ridge end. But it's done, so it's another one of those little jobs that needed doing and there was never time for. There was always a distraction. That's that shelf I was talking about earlier on with a new latch on. So again, another bit of a non-job, but something that did need doing. And since I'd replaced that window, I thought I may as well get that done out the way as well. So lots of stuff. But for now I'm going to pop back into the cabin. I've made myself a cup of coffee and I'll just have 5 minutes sit down. Well, I'll tell you what, it looks nice outside. The sunshine is really nice, but it's absolutely freezing with that wind. That wind, it must be dropping the temperature out there by a good 5 or 6 degrees easily. I could feel it on my fingers when I was doing the those hasps on the can't even get my words out. The hasps on the nest boxes on the chicken coop. For God's sake. So I got myself a cup of coffee. I'm snuggling up by the wood burner, which is kicking out a fair bit of heat. This cabin's nice now. It's where are we? We're over 20 degrees, 25 degrees. So this is quite nice in here, and be nice to get my feet and my hands warmed up. And listen to that wind. I got myself some cheddar cheese and onion potato chips, or crisps as we call them here. So I'm going to have 5 minutes warm up and just kick back and have a little think. The polytunnel is beckoning, as are the seeds in this garden room. What do you think about the windows of that original cabin? How nice do they look? And it's really nice to be able to look through and see daylight in there. It's been, I don't know how long, over a year those shutters have been up. I will look when I get home. I'll scroll back through the videos. It sounds like it's going to take off. I don't know what the wind strength is, but it is very strong. The trees, the big trees outside, are just doing that, and it takes a bit of effort to move those trees. But in here, it's actually very pleasant. So I'm going to relax, have something to eat and drink, and I'll catch up with you shortly, I guess, in the polytunnel in the garden room. Well, it's really nice and warm inside the polytunnel. It is taking a battering though. It won't be long before this plastic sheet's coming off and we net round it. It just can't stand up to the conditions in the field. You can see from the various side vents over this last year and a bit, it's just been trashed completely. All of them are in a sad state. But the plants inside aren't. These Swedes really coming on well. Real strong growth on these, and these are about ready for going out. I just daren't this week because of the freezing temperatures that we're expecting. But they'll not come to any harm, and they'll just come straight out of the pots in a clump and go straight into the beds eventually. Strawberries also doing real well. I think we'll be having some early cropping off these if all goes to plan. Again, they'll just want popping out of those little trays. I'll run round with the watering can shortly. Figs, real nice growth on the leaves here. And this blueberry bush is going completely crazy. It really is. Look at all this. Really nice. And to be fair, the smaller ones doing well, putting out lots of new growth. Trees all doing well. It's a shame that they're in here. Hopefully as the weather improves I'll be able to pop them outside. I'll just have to be a bit careful about the critters getting at them. And those little cuttings that I took of the lavender down there also doing well. I'm hoping these elderberry trees come on. Not quite sure. It's the right time of year for cuttings, but I don't know. I guess we'll see in due course. Potatoes also coming through well. I mounded those up last week and they're already breaking through again. Lots of growth on those. Just let that leaf get a bit of a fighting chance. But you can see they're all coming through again. Great expectations for my potato harvest this year. I'll just keep topping up, and hopefully the ones outside will come. In fact, talking about which, let's pop outside and brave this wind. I'll just shut that up. I'm astounded that this is still here, given the battering. You can see on the roof though, the framework's just about had it. But if you can just hang on for a couple of months and just see us through, we'll be okay. This needs re-netting. I'll be tempted to try a different kind of netting. This hasn't held up well really to either the critters or the UV off the sun. It is turning quite brittle, but it has been here for over a year, so I suppose I can't complain too much. Garlic looking real good. These won't be far off being ready for lifting. I might have a little dig around on one of these and just see what they're like under the ground. And the new ones coming through as a follow-on. No sign yet of the onion sets that I put in, but it is still a little bit early for those. I keep looking in hope that I might see something breaking ground, but I don't. These cauliflowers have stunned me that they've managed to survive all the way through the winter. it was a bit of an experiment, but it's turned out well. They shouldn't be too far away now from producing something. Another few weeks and I might be eating fresh cauliflower. Potato tubs, no sign of those most recent ones breaking through yet, but there is plenty of time. I'm not too worried. In fact, I don't really want them to start breaking through now if we're going to have some frost, because that'll just kill them. And I've got this one spare barrel at the end, which is ready for some to go in. It's going to be nice to see the progress with these. Looking at the field, you would think it was a glorious day, and the sun, to be fair, is beautiful, but this wind is just shocking. It really is dropping the temperature. It's quite biting in that wind. Anyway, I'm going to get these raised beds sorted out, find a home for those, and we won't be too far before we're making tracks. The day, as usual, is just flying by. Well, as usual, I ended up doing stuff that I hadn't planned. I've just popped in those 2 pallet collars on the end of the chicken coop to make 2 little raised beds. The compost is going to want topping off. There's not enough in there. Probably another 3-4 bags just to fill those right up. And I'm guessing I'm probably going to need some kind of netting round there as well. Otherwise, my little friendly rabbits that live over there are going to be coming in and digging this up. There's nothing in it now, so I'm not too worried now, but I will be once I get stuff in. And I'm just thinking it's a nice little area that's it's in shade for a lot of the day, and it's convenient for the chickens. If I put some things like lettuce, stuff that the chickens will eat, in there, then that should be good as another source of food for them, and for me if I want to pick the odd lettuce, because I don't really eat that much salad. Chickens are outside. They've found a bit of sunshine, so they're quite happy wandering around out here. They're going to have to get used to going in and out at night on their own, because I'm not going to be here tonight to put them away, and I will be a tad nervous. I might be tempted to pop in tomorrow after work just to have a quick look and see how they're getting on. But as usual, time's flying by. It's gone 12 o'clock already. I'm going to have to start tidying up, and hopefully I'll pop into the shop on the way back, grab some more compost to deliver later in the week. I do need to get in the polytunnel and water the plants in the polytunnel, so as always there's one more thing to do before I can go. I'm just giving these plants in the polytunnel a quick water just to tide them over. Really pleased with these potatoes. They are looking good. And to be fair, everything in here is looking good. Difficult to do this one-handed, so I'll come back to you as I'm ready to pack up and go. Lovely and warm in here. I should have sat in here this morning instead of being in the cabin with the fire on. It's all looking very nice. Well, that's everything locked up. Chickens have disappeared back inside the coop, so hopefully they'll be okay while I'm away. Cabin's all locked up. That wind is just not giving up at all. Really strong today. But it is what it is, and I can't change it, so I just have to work with it. Anyway, I'm off. Get myself sorted out, get stuff ready for work tomorrow. I'll try and nip in the shop and get some more compost. How's the windows looking on the cabin? Really pleased with those. If nothing else this weekend, it's been worth it just to get those in. Really pleased. Anyway, that's all for today. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying well and safe, and I'll catch you up in the next video.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the cabin looking with the new plastic windows in? It's been a long time coming, but they're finally in and they're looking really good. I'm very, very pleased with those. And what about the little raised beds by the chicken coop? Is that a good idea to grow some veggies, especially for the chickens there? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.